This evening is Lawrence Trousdale Smith, and his speech is entitled How to Get to Achieve a Body and Mind Transformation so you can reach your personal peak without hypno or living like a monk using values. No, that wasn't a title, that was a monologue. But okay. Lawrence started out as a personal trainer and quickly noticed some reoccurring themes when it comes to change. We all know we should be eating less of this and more of that and drinking less than we are, and probably having more water. We want to be more productive, less distracted, and we get frustrated at ourselves for not doing the things we know that will take us forward. Lawrence sets out to answer the following question. Why don't we do the things we know are good for us, even when we want to change? And most importantly, how can we start doing those things, even when we're tempted to just put it off, so we can transform and reach our personal peak? Through being mentored himself and helping men drop 2 trouser sizes and 2 inches to their arms, I need to talk to you. Lawrence continues to develop a system of anchoring to values to help people to take action on what they need to transform. I'm not going to read that speech title again, so please welcome to the stage, Lawrence. Thank you very much. Lawrence.
That was a really long title. So first of all, I think this talk is super important within the confines of this room. Within this room, I can point to the fact that all of you are people who invest in change and personal growth. You spend £10, £15 to come here on a miserable January night when you're going to stay at home and watch Netflix and be comfortable. Probably have 2 or 3 self-help books on the shelf at home that are laid unfinished next to a huge library of stuff. An Audible account full of all that kind of things. Probably went to the TEDx down the road as well. That also means that it's highly likely we're the pillars for other people at the same time. When that happens, sometimes we can forget the stuff we're trying to work on in ourselves. We know what the next steps are, okay? I can point to the fact that you will know what the next steps are. You're in this room. You will invest in your self-growth. You know what to do next. But sometimes we don't know why we don't do these things. Why don't I eat more of the stuff I know is good for me? And I'm not going to talk about calories and protein intake, by the way, so don't worry, it's fine. Why aren't I better with money? Why do I drink when I say I'm not going to drink? Yeah? I'm here to talk about a system, a transformation that I think really particularly works for everyone, of course, but more importantly, people like us, people who invest in growth. A bit of backstory as to where this came from. A few years ago, I was a standard personal trainer, training people in the gym, which means my business is I show up at 6 AM, shout at people for an hour, kick them up the arse, send them home. Awesome. Sign up to my program. Eventually, in 2017, I came across a new career opportunity. I was lucky enough to become a full-time musician, moving to Greece. Some of my clients still wanted to work with me, which meant, okay, I need to buy a laptop and get used to this kind of online coaching thing that all these mentors on Facebook start going on about, right? But then suddenly, the accountability is removed for that. What happens when I am not there to give someone a kick up the arse at 6 in the morning? What happens when they assign a solution to their problems? What happens when they assign the solution to their problems as, I'm going to go see this guy for an hour, it's all going to be okay, I'm going to continue that process week after week after week after week, keeping assigning that guy my solution. What happens when that is removed? What happens when I'm not there? What I started to notice is that people who I worked with online got far, far better results. It's stuff I could point at. So let's take weight loss, okay? Because you can't say you did a particular program and say, I got 14% more confident. We need stuff we can point at, okay? The results that people were getting were much, much better online. There was a new system of accountability, and suddenly I was racking my brain as to why is this? I thought my worth as a coach, as a personal trainer, was I'm going to show up, shout at these people for an hour, encourage them, come on, one more rep, I believe in you, all that kind of stuff. Get off your ass, whatever's needed, and that is it. So, what happens and what's the story behind this? This is the system of transformation that I came across. I want you to imagine that over here we have a place called Pain Island. Pain Island, I want you to almost imagine Tom Hanks in that film Castaway. He is stuck there. And on Pain Island, things are pretty shit. The stuff we can point to, real linear stuff. I'm a personal trainer, I'm going to talk about fitness. Maybe it's the shape we're in, the stuff we're doing to ourselves. Drinking, eating stuff that we maybe shouldn't be eating. Not that eating a hamburger makes you Hitler or anything like that. But the stuff that we know isn't good for us, we keep on doing to ourselves repeatedly. Why am I drinking more than I said I was going to drink? Why can't I quit smoking? All of this type of stuff. This is Pain Island. Why do we stay in these patterns years at a time? The reason we stay in these patterns years at a time is that we haven't identified what is over here. Pleasure Island. Pleasure Island is almost a mirror image of where we want to get to. Now you can point at this stuff and kind of identify it. I'm a smoker, my Pleasure Island is, I don't want to be a smoker. Awesome, fine. What other stuff is there going to be in there? Why can't I manage my money better? What kind of figures do I want to see in my bank account? How are my relationships falling apart? Maybe not falling apart, maybe how are they not how I want them to be? How would I like them to be? All this kind of stuff. Now the difference here, most people in this room, I can take a fair guess and point at, you've done some kind of work of visualization, journaling, affirmations, all that kind of thing. Might have a decent idea of where you want to get to. Here is the problem. We can stand over here on Pleasure Island, imagine ourselves as who we want to be and make it as sexy and enticing as we want to be. We can open up our phones and look at Instagram and people with six-packs and Ferraris and mansions and more money than us and all this kind of stuff. And we can assign all of this kind of thing to our Pleasure Island. And then the trouble is, there is a wall right here on Pain Island. We might be able to see through a little peephole in that wall over to Pleasure Island. But here's the thing. That wall is an unuseful assumption that is keeping us stuck. Let me go back to Pleasure Island over here. What happens when we don't identify that we have a wall here? Maybe we buy another book. Just read The Power of Now, it's fine. And that person over here on Pleasure Island says, here you go, read The Power of Now. So we sit there and read The Power of Now. What do? We run as hard as physically possible at that wall. We smack our head into the wall, try and break through it. So the person stands here. That's just a limiting belief, man. Run harder. Bang again. You read the wrong books. Power of Habit, Atomic Habits, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, How to Stop Giving a Fuck. Didn't have the right morning routine. You need to get up at 5 AM. Don't of you know that the first trillionaire is going to get up at 2:30 a.m. the day and read 70 books an hour? 4 books. What's wrong with you? Maybe you just don't want it, though. You didn't spell your affirmations right. With each book, with each, just believe in yourself, with each chant, hey, just repeat after me. I am enough. Come on, repeat after me. I am enough, I am enough. Do it over and over again. And then run up the wall, smack, every time. Every time we run up this wall, our nose gets bloody, our face gets bloody, until eventually we give up. We say, what's the point? Let me tell you. The way to get past this wall is not to make over here more enticing. We can sit over here and say, I'm going to change my relationship with money. I'll tell you what, new decade, I'm going to be over there and I'm going to be a millionaire. And it's going to be amazing. And then we get to the second week of January. And our habits maybe haven't particularly changed in the way that we want them to. So what do we do? I just don't want it bad enough. 10 million! And 2 Ferraris. And Brad Pitt. Or Mila Kunis. The way to get past this wall is to not make this stuff more enticing. There are plenty of people over here on Instagram, whatever else. I'm not saying there's anything wrong or bad with social media, posting pictures of their abs and whatever else, and hey, aren't you serious about getting in shape? Don't you want to 10x your income? Don't you want to buy a private jet like me? Aren't you serious? And the only thing we can say to that person, when we've repeatedly smashed our faces and noses into the wall over and over and over again, course after course, book after book, is just a big resounding, fuck you. That is all we will ever say. We will not blast through that wall. The only way that you get around this wall is to name it. We name it by knowing what our unuseful assumptions are that are stopping us getting to this place. We name our unuseful assumptions using something called the locus of control, which some of you might have heard of before. As generally progressive type people, you'll have quite a high locus of control. What that means is, it's up to me to progress my life in certain areas. If I want to get in better shape, it's up to me to drink a bit less, eat a bit better. Right now, I'm working on saving for a house. It's up to me not to go give small batch £7.20 a day on flat whites. That's my responsibility. Okay? It's a hard habit to break. Our wall here, we name it by identifying where we're speaking in absolute truths. So, to use me as an example, I've been overweight, but I've never so much really struggled with stepping on a scale and saying, okay, I need to do something about this. But when I wanted to start saving for a house with my girlfriend, my first thoughts going through my mind were, oh, I'm no good with money. An absolute statement, I'm no good with money. Oh, I've always been overweight. I've always drunk. Stuff where we feel we have a very low locus of control. This is our wall, right here. How do we get past the wall? The bigger question. We need to gradually increase our locus of control to that particular area. I'm no good with money. Okay, well, why is it that I believe I'm no good with money? Okay, well, sometimes the maths made me feel stupid and I've never been good at thinking the future and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, hang on, how do we improve the stuff? By looking at areas of success in life that we've already had. If I can open up my FitnessPal with calorie tracking app and put in my calories, or if I can progress in push-ups or whatever, I can track this stuff in the spreadsheet. Is it such a leap and a bound to change those calorie size to pound size? Is it necessarily true that I'm no good with money? And I'm going to borrow some words from Byron Katie here that I'm sure a few of you will have heard of that lady. These assumptions we have about that wall. 4 questions to ask. For example, I'm no good with money. Is that true? Do I absolutely know it to be true? What happens when I believe those thoughts are true? And who would I be without those thoughts? 4 questions that I encourage you to ask. Is that true? Do I know it to be true? What happens when I believe those thoughts are true? Who would I be without those thoughts? But then, we've got past the wall. Awesome. Now our version of ourselves over here saying, awesome. I believe in you. Just love yourself. You just need to love yourself more, and then you'll be able to swim across it. The trouble. The wall just stopped us from getting started, from leaving Pain Island. But the best thing is, right, the fact that we know that there's a Heaven Island over here. Why did Tom Hanks say stop on that island for so long? The pain of change was greater than the God damn it. The pain of change was greater than the pain of staying the same. It would have been a reckless idea for him to just go out in the water with absolutely no idea of where he wanted to get to. By defining where we want to get to, suddenly that change gets a hell of a lot less painful. If Tom Hanks sees a ship, if he sees Heaven Island over there with me, the coolest, drinking an espresso martini, beckoning him over and 10 grand sat there, all that type of stuff, or his wife and family sitting there, suddenly the pain of change is a hell of a lot less. But, problem, there are sharks in the water. Now, the version of us over here is saying, just trust me, it's going to be okay. You just need to believe in yourself. You just need to get that morning routine right. Repeat the affirmations in the mirror. The version of us over here sees those sharks in the water. Usually the biggest shark there, the great white, is I've tried before and I've failed. I thought I saw an island over there. I swam, I saw that shark, it took a chunk out of me, and now I had to swim back to Pain Island. And every time I swim back to Pain Island, it gets harder and harder to change. So what do we need to do? We need to harpoon those sharks from Pain Island. We don't need to start swimming and try and knife fight it when we're there or wrestle. The sharks are hard to beat. Are there going to be troubles along the way? Of course there are. But we need to address the stuff that we believe we have a low locus of control in before we set out. For example, I know for a fact there's some people here who are maybe wanting to do the risky biscuit or thinking about doing the next Inspiring Talks Brighton and maybe a bit nervous about certain sharks out there. I'm worried I'm going to forget what to say. What are other people going to think of me? What if I don't have something interesting to say? All the stuff that's going on in our mind. The big one, whether we want to admit it or not, is what do other people think? Because we start catastrophizing the stuff that's going to go on in our mind. So, for example, let's say I was nervous about doing this talk beforehand and my hands were shaking. Any of you, and I'm nervous about certain stuff or patterns that I recognise in my speech or whatever, right? And are any of you going to go home, be lying awake at 3:50 in the morning, the other half's been asleep for 4 hours, and you're lying there thinking, fucking hell, that Lawrence. He says too much when he's talking. tell you what, his hair wasn't right either. Other people have more interesting stuff to say. It's not going to happen. We catastrophise the stuff in our mind. So, the biggest gift I can give to you on this talk is awareness. Name this wall. I highly encourage you to look up a test online called the locus of control. If you Google it, it'll be the first thing you come up with. It's 13 questions, it takes 2 minutes, and just gives you a general idea of the level of control you feel over a particular area. Then you can point to it and say, okay, what am I assuming is true about where I'm at right now with this particular thing? And how do I know that to be not true? Thank you very much.